Ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, let me just say...
Go for it.
Before you go on with this, right, I'm going to read you something, okay? I'm going to read you something, and this is a quote, okay? Direct quote, I've not made this up, it's not me flowering it up or anything else. The safety and well-being of players is a priority, and the protocols that have been developed are designed to protect individuals and, if followed, will prevent the spread of infection. All EFL clubs are aware of the processes and steps needed to take in the event of positive cases of COVID-19 and the impact this could have on their wider playing squads. This includes informing the league if they determine that they are not able to fulfil a fixture safely. The circumstances surrounding postponements will be the subject of an investigation in accordance with EFL regulations. Revised dates for the rearranged fixtures will be confirmed in due course. That is a statement from the EFL. Okay.
Is that on our after?
No, that is in response to Sunderland's 4 games that they have already been allowed to postpone. Sunderland's 4 games, 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 games that Sunderland have been allowed to postpone so far.
Yeah, so going off Paul Davis's, so obviously it's press conference day. So just going on Paul Davis's tweets, which I'm sure will be confirmed on the official website soon as well.
Yeah.
There have been 5 confirmed cases of COVID, and a 6th player has reported symptoms today, which is the day before the game.
So that's out of a squad of 25. Okay, so the safety and well-being of 2 players who have not trained now for 2 weeks because they've been ill.
Yeah.
Are now available for selection, but obviously their safety and well-being is an absolute priority. Carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. And one, he said here that if he's lucky, he'll have 3 or 4 on bench.
That's an exact quote as well.
That's a quote. That's not just it is a quote. So that was 11 plus 4 at the most. So at the minute we have 14 fit players.
And potentially 3 of them are goalkeepers.
I am absolutely baffled that this game is going ahead. I cannot understand a single reason this game is going ahead. I've seen quotes from the Barnsley United today sort of saying it's difficult circumstances. From no perspective does it seem like Barnsley pressured the issue.
No.
Which is perfectly, we wouldn't expect them to. They seem a reasonably well-run club with reasonable people in charge, so you wouldn't have expected that. We joke a lot, and I joke a lot with non-Rotherham fans about the EFL having it in for Rotherham United. The points deductions in the past and everything else. And it's all a bit tongue-in-cheek, because I know some of them we deserved. But this is a new level, Ben. This is just ridiculous.
I didn't get to experience point deductions because I weren't born, thankfully. But it's embarrassing from, obviously, with the press conferences either still happening or just happened as we were recording.
Yeah.
And he said that he feared, punishment?
The quote is feared retribution.
Yeah. That's like you just said there, Sunderland have postponed 4 games, probably are going to end up being 5. That's a joke. That's surely illegal. That's got to be illegal of some sort.
I wouldn't say it's COVID secure.
No, I wouldn't. Well, we've got let's say one person's got symptoms, hasn't he? Right? Got symptoms, he's waiting test results. If them test results don't come back, he can play legally. He plays, he gives the rest of the 21 players on the pitch COVID. That's Barnsley's next 3 games we win, and you know what I mean, we'll probably get a points deduction for that because somehow it'd be our fault. Do you know what I mean?
Rotherham United boss Paul Warren says the EFL have advised the club that the 10-day self-isolation period can be 9 for the COVID player who is now eligible for the bench.
What does that mean?
So what that's telling me is the EFL are telling Rotherham United that it only has to be 9 days, not 10 for self-isolation.
Yeah, which is a
government guideline. So the EFL, based on this tweet, and if that's right, if what Warren is, if all that's right, how can the EFL tell Rotherham United, don't worry about it. This day don't matter. Don't worry.
If that's true, then the EFL have got to get some sanction for that because that's breaking the law. That's they've got to get that. The government is 10 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's they've got to get some sanction for that if that's true.
I can't. I'd really like to say what I actually think, but obviously I can't. Other than what I've already said, because this is a family show. But I am utterly disgusted. I'm not massively surprised, if I'm honest.
No.
Because of the clear and utter incompetence of the EFL, and it is utter incompetence. They appear to either change the rules just willy-nilly. It's not 10 days, it's 9 days. No, don't worry about that. We don't want to be getting any more games at the end of this season. We ain't got a plan B.
Yeah.
We don't realise this were a global pandemic, and and people might get ill and we might have to cancel some more games. We haven't planned for that, sorry. So you're going to have to play. All this, it's just. I don't know what to say.
We said about it in the summer before, a few months of this podcast, and we used to slate AFL about not taking action, and I went along with it because I'd never really experienced it. Do you know what I mean? I'd never really experienced the EFL, but I'm genuinely speechless. I don't know what to say because it doesn't make sense. It genuinely doesn't make sense.
It's been said many times about the EFL on many subjects, not just this. And this is obviously just a drop in the ocean in terms of the decisions that they make throughout football. But so many people have said that the EFL is not fit for purpose, and it is not fit for purpose. To make decisions like this, it just proves it goes against government guidelines. It goes against all common sense. It goes against the safety and well-being of players is a priority.
Which we can
the words of the EFL, it goes against that as well. Everything. It's an absolute joke. It really is a joke.
I'm speechless.
Well, like honestly. I said, they must have some rationale for making this decision. They must have, or it's a bank holiday. There's nobody in at EFL anyway, so they've rung EFL and security guards answered phone.
Go on now.
And he's gone. The safety and well-being of players is a priority, and the protocols that have been developed, you've got to play. What?
It's a shame because it's a South Yorkshire derby, and it's a great. If both teams were fully fit, this would have been a cracking game.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
You've got Barnsley banging form, although they lost on the day. You've got us who had started to build up a bit of momentum. It could have been a really good occasion, although we weren't going to be there. It still could have been a fantastic occasion, and for us a good benchmark for where we are. Because Barnsley have sort of established themselves this season into a positive force from where we were last season, which were sort of struggling relegation. Similar to the Fleetwood game last year, if you remember, when we played Matt Crooks at centre back.
Yeah,
it sort of got echoes of that a little bit.
Abby's playing in goal this week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's the biggest lad in there.
Yeah,
that's the thing as well. What if we don't have a keeper? We're going to put it in net. What if
you would be able? If you had no keepers, you would be allowed to bring in an emergency loan for keeper.
Okay.
Me.
Warrington's coming out.
Yeah, exactly. We just need to sack the whole of the EFL. I might get some T-shirts printed up.
And what's his name? Rick Parry. Get rid of Rick Parry because he is absolutely useless.
Well, to be fair to him, he is not as though he's a money-orientated man, is he at all? He's not got any. His priorities are not financial in any way, and his priorities are purely for football, nothing to do with Rick Parry PLC. So you know what I mean? He's the right person to be in charge of this absolute sham of an organisation. And I use that word organisation in inverted commas because it ain't even that.
No.
Honestly, it is not fit for purpose.
I completely agree. Yeah, it's an absolute joke. Hopefully at some point today, we're recording Monday, that we'll see some sort of statement from the EFL. We need a statement from the EFL. I've
got a statement for the EFL.
I know.
On behalf of all our YouTube viewers, that's my statement for the EFL.
As well, we didn't move on to this point. They've essentially blackmailed us, by the way.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's saying here that from Radio Chef saying that Miller's boss says they have to play of risk of facing a points deduction.
So they're blackmailing us.
Basically.
A points deduction, bearing in mind one team in the last 10 years, probably 5 years, that I can count have a points deduction. That's Wednesday for doing some stupid, dodgy stuff with money, and we get one for following the law. This is what I mean. It's embarrassing. This is honestly.
Throwing stuff about.
Yeah, it's getting the more you think about it, the more we discuss this. It's not being therapeutic in the way that I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Because the more you think about it, the more outrageous the behaviour of this group of people has been or is being.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. I can't. Surely there must be something that we as a club have done wrong, or not, or some sort of protocols that we haven't followed. Surely that must be the case.
I read something on Twitter or Facebook about...
It's got to be true then.
Well, yeah. Well, we're a picture of a newspaper, which again, obviously must be true.
Yeah.
Of a, like, none of them stupid little EFL insiders. Or, well, you know what I mean? Of the papers,
No,
It'll give you sort of insights into what's happened.
No, I don't read
I
it.
know what you mean.
Yeah, it basically said that the EFL are not happy with somebody, with a certain club, because they haven't followed the COVID protocols. i.e. going to away games on one coach, making players share hotel rooms on away games and things like that. Now, number one, that might not be true. That might, it's from a newspaper, so it may just be, somebody from Sun just writ something down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that would explain why the EFL are so not happy. But at the same time...
Because it doesn't justify the thing, isn't it?
It doesn't, and I don't understand why, as a club, we would do that.
No, I don't.
Look who we've got in charge.
Yeah.
Look who we've won. Look who we've got in charge.
We're not skinned. It's not like we've got no money and we can't afford to pay for a hotel room for extra people.
Yeah.
Or, put on an extra coach. Or even ask the players to drive there and reimburse. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
It doesn't feel like a Rotherham United thing to do.
Even if you ask the players to drive there, I don't even feel like they'd ask for the club to reimburse them. Do you know what I mean?
No, they just get on with it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I can't understand the world we're living in today. It's so different.
Mate, you should have been alive a few years ago when it was normal. No, I mean, it's not like you say. It's not a Rotherham United thing to do, and if it's in the newspaper, it's probably nonsense anyway. It's rarely ever true. So the only people you can actually believe are people like Paul Warne, who's got no idea. He has got an agenda, but he's not the type of bloke to.
It's not Steve Evans.
He's not. No, he's not exactly. He's not going to be.
Can you imagine Steve Evans? If
God.
Steve Evans were manager of Rotherham now, can you imagine? We got a few bad decisions and he claimed that the EFL didn't want us in Championship. Can you imagine what he'd be doing?
You know,
He'd get his appointed deduction because he'd caught the game off.
Probably,
He'd caught game off.
Well, there's an argument to say, please yourself.
I was thinking
We'll
that.
take you to court. We'll take you to court, just like Fowlerton did.
Yeah.
And they got their points deduction halved for not being at all dodgy.
Oh,
obviously.
Wednesday as well. Oh, you on about Wednesday?
Yeah, that's what I mean. They got their points deduction cut in half by Court of Arbitration for Sport, whoever it was, I don't know, or whether some independent people. So there is an argument to say, right, fair enough, dock us some points, make it 20. No, I tell you what, dock us 50. You know what I mean? Just unbelievable, man, unbelievable.
Bishop